Hello everybody, this is Johns Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-Minute Histories videos. And today I'm on St. Paul Street, just north of North Avenue, and I'm inside St. Mark's Lutheran Church. Now I know a number of you, like me, probably drive down St. Paul Street all the time, and you may have remarked as you're going by, well, that's a handsome church, the stonework is really nice. But if you've ever been on the inside, I am sure you'll share the sentiment of, oh my, where am I? 13th century Byzantium? And the deep blues and greens and reds and gold leaf make that not a crazy idea, but you are not in 13th century Byzantium or even in Istanbul. You're here in Baltimore, but you're also in one of the only surviving intact interiors designed by the Louis Tiffany studios. I am pleased that we're going to be joined by Pastor Emily Scott in just a moment. Have to say a quick thank you to the prior pastor, Dale Dusman, who is the real expert on this building's history and under whose leadership the interior got designated as a Baltimore City Landmark. Only a few of those, and this is one of the few interior landmarks. All right, before turning it over to Pastor Scott, let me just say a word or two about Tiffany. Louis was born to his father, Charles Tiffany. Think Tiffany and Company, Diamonds, Fifth Avenue, New York. That was the Tiffany. So he's born into a very well-off family. Started his life as a painter, but then soon realized that interior decorating was more of his calling. He very quickly went on to design interiors of some prominent houses for people like Cornelius Vanderbilt and President Chester Arthur. And here in Baltimore, our own Garrett family. I think he was certainly a trendsetter. My 16-year-old daughter would say he was the TikTok influencer of his day 100 years ago. I guess that's about as good a way to say that as you can. But really, the Louis Comfort Tiffany studios, their stock was not so much private homes, but churches. They even had an ecclesiastical department because the demand was so great. And in the 1890s, they turned their attention here to Baltimore, to St. Mark's. The gentleman at Tiffany Studios who really led the project was, let me see if I can get his name right, René Théophile de Quélen. He was a Frenchman who came over to work for Tiffany. And the design of the church was really modeled after early Christian churches. Fairly simple, rectangular design with sort of a half-dome arc above the altar. But the simplicity stops there. The colors, again, are deep blues and reds and greens. There are geometric patterns on the walls and ceilings and arches. There are crosses everywhere in design. The dome above the altar has stenciled vines over gold leaf, and all of the windows, save one, are the famous Tiffany stained glass windows. And Tiffany didn't stop there. The tile mosaic floor in the entryway, that's Tiffany. The wall lights, those are Tiffany. The wall hangings, those are also Tiffany. But not everything is Tiffany. The altar itself was another noted artisan named J.R. Lamb, also out of New York. And if you're wondering, the one light that is not Tiffany comes from Joseph Lauber, but he trained under Tiffany, so kind of close to that also. What's amazing is that there have been very few changes since the 1898 completion of this interior. One of them in the 1920s was redoing that mosaic tile in the front hallway. But it was also redesigned by Tiffany, just a later Tiffany than the 1890s, so staying in the same family. All right, before I turn it over to Pastor Scott, let me just say, if you haven't been here or you haven't been here in a while, I'll invite you to come and ring their doorbell. Be prepared to be transported across time and across the world, and be prepared to be wowed. Final word I want to say is that this church obviously has really wonderful architecture, but I've had the pleasure of knowing a number of people associated with it, and it's got equally wonderful people who have been doing great work here in the Old Goucher neighborhood for years and years. All right, Pastor Scott, we're all yours.
Hi everyone, my name is Pastor Emily Scott, and I have the honor and the pleasure of serving as pastor here at St. Mark's Lutheran in Baltimore. This building is so astonishing to me because what you see on the outside, which is this kind of very stoic gray stone exterior, has almost nothing to do with what happens when you walk in the door and see the inside, which is so colorful and so kind of wild and unexpected. And I love watching people's faces when they come in the door and are so surprised and wowed. There's almost always a kind of shock expression that folks get on their face when they see this beautiful interior. I think that one of the most lovely things about St. Mark's is that there's such a theme of mosaics all over this building, whether it's actual mosaic made with bits and pieces of stone, or if it's in the painting that you see in the building. It feels like you're in this kind of Byzantine environment, and there's so much of this really delicate hand stencil work. It feels like all these different pieces that have come together in all their diversity to make this beautiful whole, which reminds me a lot of what it means to be part of a church. We have so many people here who come from so many different contexts and experiences who come together to make something that's really pretty stunning. St. Mark's has been such a hub for community life in our neighborhood throughout its history, and at this point in our history, as we look forward, we're really investing in continuing to be that kind of hub for the neighborhood. A church belongs to God, and it belongs to the community. It doesn't belong to me or even to us, this congregation. It belongs to everyone. So I hope that you can think of St. Mark's as your church. And we're doing a lot right now to try and open our congregation as much as we can to the neighborhood and doing some really fun events. Around Halloween, we had a viewing of the original silent film, The Phantom of the Opera, which was accompanied live on our really incredible organ by our even more incredible organist, Mr. James Harp. And it was fabulous to see this sanctuary filled with folks who were here watching the movie on a big screen up in front of the altar. And we've also been having trunk or treat events where all the neighborhood kids come to our parking lot for a little fun with Halloween. We also have a congregation called North Ave Mission, which is a collective of unhoused folks and very low income folks who do their work out of our social hall downstairs. And so they have all kinds of things happening in the neighborhood, including visits with social workers that take place here at St. Mark's and weekly food distributions. So we're really excited to be in partnership with them. St. Mark's is really a place that welcomes everyone, no matter what your background might be or where you might be from. But since the 70s and 80s, we have had a very particular welcome for the LGBTQ community here in Baltimore. I'm also a part of that community. And so it means a lot to me that this congregation has had such a commitment to our community for such a long time. We became officially LGBTQ welcoming in 1985, which is incredibly early, and have really been trailblazers in that department. So many of our congregants who are here at St. Mark's say to me that they came here because it's a place where they can just be who they are and be themselves fully. And I think that's really meaningful. One of the ways you see that represented in our building is with this beautiful mosaic. It's a winged lion, which is the symbol for St. Mark's, and it is dedicated to our friends and members who died of AIDS. And I think that it's such a beautiful witness and testimony because you see this piece of art just as you enter into the sanctuary. And so every Sunday when we come to church, we're reminded of that part of our history, and it's a really important thing for us. One of the most unusual pieces of the building here at St. Mark's is this gorgeous Tiffany, of course, designed window, which is quite unusual, and it features the clematis flower, purple clematis, which are sort of twining through the cross. And I love it because it's kind of tucked away in a corner, but if you come in the afternoon, you'll see the afternoon sun just blazing through it, and it's really like nothing else. Thank you everyone so much for watching and for learning a little bit more about St. Mark's. You are so very welcome in this place, and I hope that you might wander by some Sunday morning at 11 to be a part of worship, or just some other time during the week to take in this really beautiful sanctuary. We would really love to meet you.